true based on like our energy outputs and what we're needing to do for the day. Sometimes we need to switch it up and have more nourishing or grounding foods. The fruits are definitely the super cleansers, so that's taking us the deepest into our cleanse, but it's not necessary to do that the whole time. So incorporating kind of listen to your body, see what it's asking for and needing, and having some other foods that are like going to fill you up a little bit more deeply during those times so that you aren't hungry. And the main goal is that, you know, like even just going and getting all of these amazing, incredible plants into our body and superfoods into our body, we're doing so much benefit. So definitely don't beat yourself up if you're not just doing, you know, fruits, because that's really kind of specific for people that are working kind of really deeply. So yeah, nourish yourself. And sometimes when I'm feeling extra hungry, and with the change of the seasons, you know, it's nice to incorporate either maybe you needed a little bit of steamed veggies or just or a little quinoa or whatever it is, but that's in alignment with like your goals and the ways that you're working.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I think we're ready to get started. I just want to make sure you can all see everything here. I'm also going to, I'll just kind of carry this with me so you can see. But here I have all my prep set up. Everybody can see that. So I have some chopped onions, some curry powder, cumin, garlic, a little bit of shredded carrot, some minced ginger, avocado, and back here is cauliflower rice. So what I want to show you today is how you can take some of the very same produce and make many different dishes with it and have different flavors so you don't get bored. We have a peanut gallery today. We'll be ready in a minute. So we're actually going to start by cooking up your onions first. So
Oops, you're on mute, Carrie.
sorry.
That's okay.
So when you are like kind of in a deeper detox, you kind of want to move into like water frying items. So you can use water and brown your onions, but it does take a little bit longer. So for today, I'm going to use a little bit of organic, unrefined raw coconut oil and just put that on the pan to warm. And I like to keep it at pretty low heat. I don't really crank it up. You can burn oil and turn them carcinogenic, and you also don't want to overheat your foods. So you just need a little bit, and then I'm gonna pop a bunch of onions in here because I'm making the onions for 2 different dishes at one time. So we're gonna make a Mexican cauliflower rice, and then I'm also making a cauliflower rice curry, which is super easy. So you have everything laid out. So as soon as this is a little warmer, I will throw the onions on. And then while the onions are sauteing and the ginger and the garlic is sauteing, we'll move over to our raw section and make the raw food because that's all ready. It just needs to be blended. All right. So here we have it. I'm going to grab my utensil. All right, so I'm just adding onions right now. I'm not going to do all of them because I want some of them still for my raw meal. Hi, Haley. So these are going. And then in a moment, I'm going to add some garlic to this so it doesn't burn. And then we are going to move over and do our raw fun stuff. So here I have a bowl of peas that you can see. And I'm going to show you two things. So, sorry about Mila. This is mom life, right? What are you gonna do? So I'm adding peas. I just did like a few cups. Really, I don't measure many things. Just like get out of your head so much and just trust yourself with flavoring. So I'm just pouring peas right into the blender. This is a little Ninja. You also can use something like this tiny little food processor that's $20. So you don't have to have any fancy kitchen equipment. You can just make more at once if you do. So I'm just throwing peas in there. And then I'm going to grab my spices and my onions. All right. Throwing tomatoes. These are Mexican peas. I'm just throwing a few tomatoes in there. A few red onions in. I'm going to do some pinch of, this is organic granulated garlic. I don't do a ton of dried spices, but they're nice when you're in a hurry and want some good flavor. And then this is a cumin and coriander mix, mostly cumin, just a little bit of coriander. And you really just need a couple pinches here. And you can season this to your own personal taste buds. So blend it, taste it, blend it, taste it. You know, very, very simple. And the last thing I'm adding to this is some pink salt. Oh, not the last thing, not sure. I'm gonna add a little avocado. So this is an oil-free little recipe that, as you can see, takes like a minute or two. So here I'm gonna take a half of an avocado for this whole batch, and I'm gonna throw that in here. All right. Closing the Ninja, you're gonna hear some noise here while I blend. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah. Here we go. I'm having a blend issue. Of course I am. Right? There's something going on right here. Just a moment, guys. Okay, I'll wait till Alvin gets back to blend this. One issue. But let's move back over and finish our onions, and then I'll show you this blended item. Hey, Olivia. Okay, my 2-year-old's being moved out of the room. But here we have the onions going. All right, a little fuzz in there. There we go. All right, so now my onions are pretty brown to the way I want them. I don't want them overcooked. And now I have 2 pans going because I want to make 2 separate dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and start this pan here on a low heat. And then I'm just transferring half of my onions over. There we go. So we've got about half and half. And now I'm going to add each respected item's stuff. So here I have ginger. This is going to be for the curry. So I'm adding some fresh minced ginger. If you like to keep it really simple, you can honestly do a ginger powder. Where did the minced garlic go, Evelyn? Oh, here we go, right here. And now I'm adding garlic to this dish. So this dish that I'm doing right here, the closest to you, is actually the Mexican cauliflower rice. And this dish in the middle is the curry. And I buy my cauliflower rice from Costco. It's all organic, and it comes in individual packaged bags already. So I'm just gonna saute that just a tiny bit. This ginger is going. I didn't need to add any extra oil. It's going great. Aslan, that blender wasn't working. Can you fix that? The peas. Okay. So here's the cauliflower rice. Yeah, just do it. Aslan's gonna blend the peas for us, then I'm gonna go back and show you. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna take about half of this cauliflower rice. This is 2 of the individual bags that come pre-packaged from Costco. I'm just adding this to it. It's about half here. Do you want to set up the cilantro sauce and the lettuce wraps? And I'm gonna let this ginger cook for just another moment here. And really this is just frozen cauliflower rice, so it just takes a couple minutes and I can walk away from it. So now I'm adding the cauliflower rice to the curry dish. And I'm at just a little under a medium heat. So I'm just gonna let those sit and unthaw for a moment. I'm also gonna add some of these, I want shredded carrots in my curry. And so I'm gonna add some of those shredded carrots to start cooking in. You can buy the pre-shredded, I just shaved these ones. Okay, buddy. So there's that. And there we go. Can you unfold me another leg, please? All right, so those are going. And we're gonna go back over to our raw food now. All right, so here we have the pea tacos that I just blended. Or Aslan just blended, I should say. And you can see I like to put them in a lettuce wrap, but this is what it looks like. So it's all blended up. I don't know if you can see that very well. Grab a bowl. And you can do whatever you like. So when our family eats these tacos, everybody's got a different preference. So my kids tend to want the coconut flour tortilla. I always want the lettuce wrap or the jicama wrap. So you can make this completely raw, or you can add it and make it like a really great taco. So here we have it. So this is what that looks like. All this really awesome pea taco meat, but it basically just has all your Mexican flavors, but it's made with peas instead. And then you can choose, you can make them and put them into lettuce wraps. So this would be a lettuce wrap boat. And then, as I'm leaving, one more small plate. Or 2. Thank you. So here's the lettuce wrap option. You can also, if you have a mandolin, if you know what a mandolin is, there's a jicama wrap option. You can shave jicama, Or we have found these at Trader Joe's. This is jicama shaved, super thin, so good. And so then you can throw this in a jicama piece and wrap it up like a little taco. And we're gonna add a sauce to this as well. This is option 3, and I'll show you the package here. So these are what my kiddos like. I prefer the raw, but if you want a little treat, this is like when you're not cleansing or deep cleansing and you want a little something extra. This is a coconut flour tortilla, and it's 100% organic. There's like 4 ingredients in the whole thing, which is great. So that's one option. If you can find these on Amazon, but your local co-op should have them, is where I find them. And so then you can take this tortilla option as well. And you can warm the tortilla lightly and then add your peas to it. So this is another option. And next time you can do this exact same recipe with a can of chickpeas. So you take organic chickpeas and you pour it into your pan and you just mash it. You just take a masher and mash it and let it simmer with all of the chickpea water. Hey, buddy. You let it simmer with all of the chickpea water, and then you just add the same spices I just added. And it has more of like that meaty heartiness. You can make full tacos, make a fresh pico, add avocado to them. And that's an awesome choice. So you can do this with peas or with chickpeas. And then we're gonna make a sauce here. Can you help me with the camera? So we have, I need to eat, right? There's a couple options here. Where's the tahini? You grab the tahini. So I'm gonna make a cilantro verde sauce. So if you like spice, you can add a jalapeno. So we've got some whole jalapenos here. If you just want the flavor of the jalapeno, cut it open, take the seeds out. Then it'll just be mild, but have some good flavor. If you want the spice, keep the seeds in. So in here we have an entire head of organic cilantro and some jalapeno. And then Aslan's grabbing some tahini. So you can use either avocado or tahini with this. And we'll be ready in just a moment. Oh, buddy. Here, let's set that down to show you how easy this is. All right, so I've got some organic raw tahini here, and I'm just putting in like a couple tablespoons, maybe 3. That's probably good. And then some water. I'm gonna grab me the filtered water. And the same spices again. So you're using your pink salt, a little bit of pink salt, drink some Fiji water. There we go. And then a little bit of garlic. You can do fresh or granulated if you're in a pinch. And I like to do a squeeze of lime if you want some citrus, and some onion as well, just a tiny bit. A little bit of onion. You can caramelize these if you want to. And that's it. And this sauce is amazing on like everything. It's amazing on chickpea tacos. It's amazing on wraps. It's amazing on, I like to make collard leaf wraps with it. I like to put it over pea tacos. So it's very diverse. And I'm gonna just blend here. That's it. I'm gonna grab a little ramekin. I'm actually gonna combine the rest of these ingredients over here. Oh, buddy, that scared him. Mom life, right? Okay, so here we have it. That's a beautiful cilantro verde sauce. I like mine liquidy so it's not like really thick and heavy. I might have to pass them on. So this is hey, bud. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna pass him off real quick. I'm sorry, Rita. Hold on.
Oh my God, that looks so amazing. Definitely going to make this. I hope you all have been taking notes. I'm like drooling. But I love just the simplicity of the ingredients so far. Just, you know, working with peas, working with a few fresh veggies and a few fresh herbs. Hi, Carrie.
He's better. I don't know.
Okay.
I think this kind of scared him.
Beautiful. Loving what you're making.
Thank you. So yeah, so now you can take these tacos and add some cilantro sauce to it. And it's awesome. You can add some fresh avocado on top. So all of the options, we've got the coconut flour tortilla, you have the jicama wrap, or you have the lettuce wrap. Any of the above, you can add this sauce to all of them. They're amazing. And then you have all this extra pea meat. I like to sometimes put this over a salad, just like a little heartier of a salad. And now we're gonna go back over to our cooked items, and Alvin's gonna carry the computer for me. This is a raw. So you saw the raw dish took like 3 minutes. So it's really easy to just blend ingredients, blend peas, and make it into something amazing. The other way you can do this pea recipe, which we can do on another show or another Zoom call, is to take the same ingredients I have out, but change it up just a bit. So you would add peas, a little bit of tahini, some red onions, some shaved carrot, some curry powder, and some lemon juice, and make curried pea tacos. And I love that. So I do the curried peas, and I like to put those inside of collard leaf wraps with sprouts and some purple cabbage and just make them really pretty. But then you have a curry flavor or a Mexican flavor. So there's a lot that you can do with the peas. And then of course you can make an Italian dish. You can put basil, you can put oregano, you can really do a lot with the base being peas. All right, so I was gonna grab the computer and we're gonna go back over to our cooked items, and we're almost done already. So it's pretty fast. Do we need this plugged in? Okay. All right, so peas, did you unthaw? Okay. So now you see we have these dishes here. The cauliflower rice is warm. That's all we need to do is really heat it. This is gonna be our curry. So I always add my unthawed peas. I just rinse them until they're unthawed, and then I add them last because I really want as much nutrition in my food as possible, as least heat. So I add this last. And then if you have the time, of course, you can make coconut milk from fresh Thai coconuts, and sometimes we love to do that. And sometimes we open a can. So here's the organic reduced fat coconut milk. The only ingredient on it is organic coconut. That's it. So it's a one ingredient. There's no guar gum, there's no anything added to it, no citric acid. I got this at Trader Joe's. So, and they have a nice tab on the can as well, so I can just pop it open. All right, and I'm gonna add the whole can. Do we do the whole can?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna add the whole can to this curry. And then pink salt. A little bit of pink salt here. And I don't like to add too much salt. It's really up to you. I always think everything's too salty, but once you cleanse a lot, your palate will be really sensitive to salt. And then the same with the curry powder, you know, just like start with less and then keep adding. So you can really stir this up. I'm gonna start stirring. I really also like to add purple cabbage for color and crunch to my curry, but I didn't have any today, so I let that slide. And And like with all curries, they're very like rich and sauce based. So you can eat this just as is. I like the cauliflower rice as the base, but if you wanted, you could throw it over some quinoa. You could throw it over a little millet. Avoiding your rices is best. If you do a white rice, wild rice is the preferred rice. But yeah, I like to use cauliflower rice. So this looks like it needs a little more curry powder. I haven't even tasted it yet. And you can just kind of tell by the color. So this is more like an Indian curry, like aloo gobi. It's masala powder, right?
That's curry powder.
Oh, this is curry. This is not masala. So I like to do this one. You can add some Thai basil, fresh Thai basil at the end. But yeah, so this is it. And we'll pour this into a bowl and show you how simple it is. Whoops. I can't reach. All right, so that's it. I mean, you have, in a matter of a few minutes, a fresh bowl of curry. And it's like really low heat. It's not, everything should have a lot of color still when you're cooking. So if you like are cooking broccoli, like sometimes I love to throw the organic frozen broccoli in here at the end and just let it lightly unthaw and have some really vibrant vegetables in there. I kept it simpler for today because I wanted to show you how to make 3 dishes with the same 3 ingredients. But yeah, you can really have a lot of fun with your curry, but everything should be bright, should be vibrant. When it loses that bright green hue, it's losing nutrition as well. So you've overcooked the food. So just keep it simple. And now we have the Mexican cauliflower rice here is totally done. And I'm gonna add some pink salt. We already have fresh garlic in there. And I'm gonna add some fresh tomatoes. You can add a few more fresh onions. I like to have a few. And I personally like a little bunch of fresh cilantro in there. So you can just kind of tear some of the pieces. And now you have a fresh Mexican cauliflower rice dish. And then these are the spices that I put on this one is back to the same things we put on the peas. So this cumin and coriander mixture, mostly cumin, a pinch of coriander. You can also add some paprika or chili powder if you'd like, and a little bit of garlic. And we already did fresh garlic in here, so I'm not too worried about all that. I'm gonna rinse my hand real quick. And just stir it up. It should be off. It is. Okay. Like, see, like in these pans that we have, they like brown the onions without any oil. Like they're awesome. These are called, we just got these newer ones. These are called Green Life. They're really affordable and it's really easy to water fry with them. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how I would, there you go. Just tilt it down where you can't see. Awesome. So now I'm gonna dish up a bowl of the cauliflower rice. And let me just grab, I need a better spatula. Something to really serve this with. Okay, so I'm gonna just dish this up here. All right, so now we have a bowl of cauliflower rice, and I love it like this, but I'm gonna make it a little happier. And here, let's go here. Throw on some fresh avocado on the top. And you can do a little squeeze of lime. There's some fresh avocado, and we're gonna add a little bit of our fresh cilantro sauce. So I like to drizzle this all over the top. And there we have it. Little cilantro sauce, avocado, cauliflower rice, beautiful, delicious. I like to throw it over a bed of arugula. I like that earthiness with it. So we didn't start till 5:06. It's 5:34. We've made 3 dishes. So that's how simple it is. So we just made Mexican cauliflower rice, we made a coconut cauliflower rice curry, and we made Mexican pea tacos and cilantro verde sauce. So that's how simple it can be. All the same ingredients, just a few different spices in your kitchen. How does that feel, guys?
That was amazing.
Awesome.
So good, so beautiful and just fluid. And I really love your intuitive cooking. I'm actually the same model. I just do the spices by intuition, what feels right. And the more you kind of play around with that, the easier that becomes. So beautiful, Carrie. Thank you so much for sharing those. I'm going to be making those this week.
Yeah, it's super easy. And that's kind of the hardest thing. People are always like, when's your big cookbook coming out? And I'm like, eh. And the reason is because I don't measure anything. I just play. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to go measure stuff and make sure it tastes right. And that's been a big block for me. And I think it's a block for a lot of people. Like, if you really just trust yourself and have the ingredients in your cabinet, start with less and then add, right? So a little bit of curry, a little bit of cumin, and then taste it. Does it need a little more? So just play with it to your liking, because I've followed recipes to a T and been like, this is terrible, right? And so that's also just try not to let that be a block, and just really trust yourself in the simplicity of like having organic cauliflower rice on hand. Like, organic frozen veggies are a savior for dinner if you're in a pinch for time, if you're a busy mom like me. We always say fresh is best, of course. But we've got our superfoods that we're taking. We're taking our Purium shakes. We're eating fresh fruits all day long. I like to start every dinner with a fresh salad, and then I have my warm item with it if I'm still craving that. So if you start fresh and then move to cooked last, if you're gonna have a cooked item. So yeah, I hope that was enjoyable, guys. And now it's time for you to come in and do some Q&A. Thanks for dealing with the baby and the 2-year-old, but this is real, right? We all have kids, we all have jobs, and but you can still pull it all off.
Thank you, Carrie. That was amazing and so beautiful. And yeah, we'll open it up to our Q&A. So any other questions that people have in relationship to your transformation, or questions in general, we're opening it up.
Okay, well, this is Lisa, and I'm in Minneapolis, and I'm in day 3 of my detox, like the first time through. So this is very brand new to me. And I'm wondering, along with the shakes and the Purium, what foods should I be eating?
Yeah, I can answer that. So, when you first start, it's important to know that like in your first 7 days of detoxification, your body's actually eliminating like 60% of the built up waste. And so that's a really important time to support your body in eliminating the waste. So staying hydrated is going to be key. So really eating fresh fruits and veggies, as hydrating as you can. You can eat your veggie fruits that are like tomatoes and cucumbers and celery, but trying to stay high with your fruits and your veggies in the beginning are really going to help your body to eliminate the cellular waste that's being brought up. So the slower the detoxification process happens slower with the more cooked foods we eat and the more acidic foods we eat. So if you want to slow down the process, you can lean more towards that side, but it's going to take longer to actually cleanse your body doing that. And so it's ideal in those first few days when your body is really eliminating to really stick with the super hydrating fresh fruits and veggies, like the salads, and do some fruit smoothies. I say always have fresh fruit on hand. So if you do get hungry, you reach for that versus the cooked acidic food. But then you also just have to, like Rita was saying in the beginning, really listen to your body, because the detoxification in those first 7 days can be different for everyone depending on how much toxin is being released. So if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling tired, these things, it's also just as important to rest as it is to think about what you're consuming. So I would just say ample rest and ample hydration. Is that helpful?
Okay. Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Yeah, Lisa, and you might have noticed that we expand our food choices beyond what is represented in the flex foods, in the Purium flex foods. We're really opening it up to as many fresh fruits and veggies as possible with as many colors as possible. So we're getting that diversity and see what looks good for you and see what's available. Does anyone have any specific goals that you're working on? What's your intention for doing this transformation? And maybe we can support you in a more specific manner. Anybody have any specific goals? I mean, if there's no questions, we can close it out, and otherwise we can speak more specifically to the different systems in the body, and kind of how that shows up as we're cleansing, which is a fun topic.
Hey gals, I have a quick question. So I'm a nursing mom, but my little boy is like, he's almost 2.5, and he more nurses just for comfort before sleep. So he's not getting a whole lot from me. And I'm thinking of I've been just using the Purium products and like the Core 4 maintenance since my last transformation. And I'm thinking of doing another transformation next month. And I want to go pretty deep with it. I know that doing the super cleanser is not necessarily appropriate while you're breastfeeding. But what are your thoughts on, being more raw and maybe even like incorporating the love meal as a meal replacement? And I have been eating primarily alkaline and, just sticking to the flex foods for the most part since I started Purium about 6 months ago. So I know that I've gone through quite a bit of detoxing already. But what do you guys say, I guess specifically Carrie and, the Carries and Mary, since you guys have all been nursing mamas, especially with an older child?
Yeah, I would say if he's really weaning off nursing, I think introducing the love meal is fine at this point. If he's not like taking, if that's not, if he's eating other food as well. I would still probably hold off on the super cleanser, just because even if you increase the amount of raw foods you're going to be doing, you are going to increase the cleansing process. And so it's kind of a step-by-step process. It's nice to just like amp up the raw foods, start with that for a while, start with the love meal, and then once he's fully done nursing, then your body and your environment will be ready to dive deep into the super cleanser. But things that you can do that actually help toxins from going straight to the kidneys instead of like being eliminated through the breast milk is just increasing your take of chlorophyll. So with Purium, we do have a really good just pure chlorophyll and chlorella tablets basically that you can take those, and that helps filter. It filters nutrients through the blood, but then it also helps the toxins move through the lymphatic system and then to the kidneys and the bowels and everything. So increasing your chlorophyll, increasing your raw foods shouldn't be a problem at all. And I mean, you can see what the other Carries say, but I say that the love meal would be fine to start adding in at this point as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would just echo that back. With Mila, I was nursing, I was down to like twice a day. And I did integrate the love meal. She did just fine. I did not integrate the super cleanser, and I was on pretty much an all raw diet. But if it's new for you, it's about going in phases. You know, if it's brand new, you don't want to just go raw overnight, because then your body will detox and, you know, start to push some of the stuff maybe into the milk. It is about 4 hours after taking something that it'll show up in your milk. So like if you're drinking a catnip tea per se to help baby sleep 4 hours before bed. So kind of thinking of, if you are going to integrate something and you're concerned about it, maybe keeping it several hours away from the time that it would be coming through in your breast milk.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
If anybody has questions, please go ahead. And otherwise, I was going to speak a little bit to the different symptoms that you might experience in correlation to the systems of our body. So some of the things that we notice a lot as detox specialists are everyone has a slightly different process in their detoxification. So if someone has genetically weakened adrenals, for instance, which is really, really common, you know, upwards of 90% of the population is dealing with some sort of adrenal weakness, and that shows up in our eyes, and we can see that through an iridology analysis if you're curious to learn more about that. But basically, symptoms of adrenal weakness include having a hard time concentrating, being exhausted or tired, having a hard time coping with anxiety or just feeling anxious. So these are like a few of the symptoms. Also having a lot of inflammation in the body. That can be a symptom that the adrenals are down. And so when you're cleansing, actually our weaknesses come up to the surface. And that's the healing process. So if we have like a suppressed chronic adrenal weakness that has been inherited from multiple generations, what we're going to experience during our cleanse at some point, as that is starting to be addressed, is some tiredness. So that's like Mary was saying, it's a really great time to rest. The adrenals need a lot of rest for repairing. That's where your fruits really come in. The fruits are amazing for the endocrine system, amazing for the nervous system, and your adrenals are part of that endocrine system and nervous system health. So that's an example of a symptom that might come up as the body's resetting. Another one, a lot of the acids in our body and the toxins, and it could be heavy metals, it could be chemicals, those are stored in our lymphatic system and oftentimes in like specific tissue areas, and it's usually in our weaknesses. So for instance, someone could have toxicity stored in their left shoulder. And as that's starting to release and cleanse and be pulled out of the lymphatic system and eliminated out of the kidneys, then they're going to experience a little bit of pain in that region. And that will last no longer than a few days. But again, just another symptom of like tissue weaknesses or toxicities that are going from a suppressed state and coming to the surface to be healed. And again, that's the healing process. We don't want it to be in that suppressed state, because that's when we run into issues down the road. So we want these toxicities and these weaknesses, tissue weaknesses or cellular weaknesses, to be released and to come to the surface. So it really is specific. You might notice that if you had an injury when you were 12 years old from falling off your bike, you experienced that old injury for a few days because it didn't fully heal. But as you get the body alkaline, your body starts to go in that healing regenerative process. And you first have to release those symptoms, release those damaged cells, which will show up as, pain or aching in that area. and then it will pass in a few days. So I just wanted to explain why these different things are coming up. It's much deeper. It's genetic. It's at the tissue level. And many of these things were actually passed down multiple generations that we're working with. So it's deep and it's powerful and it's beautiful. And it's not only that we're releasing that on the physical level, that also it will come up most likely at the emotional level as well. So if you're feeling sadness and you don't know where it's coming from, but it's just releasing, that's beautiful. It's just emotions that were suppressed or stored at that cellular memory level, and then they're coming up to be released, which is just going to give us more freedom on the other side. So be really patient with yourself and gentle with yourself as you're going through these deeper healings, both physically and emotionally. And if you want kind of deeper insight into that, you can, schedule an appointment with Carrie or myself or Carrie Tidwell to get that deeper analysis read.
Rita, I have a question. This summer, I was definitely going into a further detox on a deeper level than I have been for the past year that I've been using these products. And I had just, gone on a trip with my family and kind of dabbled in, but those comfort foods that I grew accustomed to, like more, I even had some meat, which is something I hadn't had in a long time. But when I came back, to my lifestyle, I had chronic sinusitis as a kid, so much so that I had a sinus surgery to open things up. It was elective. And of course, I didn't know back then that I probably could have healed it through my diet. But so lots of really, really thick, bloody mucus every morning, to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, do I need to see a specialist? Because it lasted for a good 2 months. But I do feel like I've done a lot of deep work because it is non-existent now. And so I don't know if you can just speak to that. It does, I think I pretty much understand it, but if you have any kind of additional insight, I do think by cleaning up my diet and really paying attention that it's healing finally after all these years.
Beautiful. It's pretty powerful and amazing what we can tap into through this process. Even those things that we dealt with in childhood, for sure. And I've had similar experiences myself of deep healings or, mucus elimination from the body, like from the lungs or other places that was just deep congestion that is finally being released. So yeah, and it is kind of specific. It does sound like that you hit a deeper pocket, and kind of the further we go into this, you start to get into new areas. And basically when you're starting in your detox, your body's going to start with the area that needs the most help right away. And then the longer you're going into your process and getting alkaline, that's when you start to get into those more chronic situations that have been long standing, lifelong, or again, passed down multiple generations. And then, once you get around like the 7-year mark, that's when we start to get into the deeper brain tissue regeneration and healing. And it can happen sooner than that for sure. But it is layer by layer by layer. And once it requires a lot of energy, cellular energy, in order to get into those deep layers. And so, in the beginning, sometimes we're just eliminating a lot of the excess lymphatic congestion. And then we get to a point where our cells are getting super energized and nourished. And once there's enough energy, cellular ATP and energy, that's when we go into those deeper, profound healings that show up as a healing crisis and are often totally uncomfortable, but amazing on the other side. So your body will not take you into one of those deep healing crises unless it's ready for it. So based on all of the work that you'd been doing, the preparation work that you'd been doing, and then continuing to energize and hydrate at that cellular level, then your body will naturally move you into those deep areas when you're ready.
So I have a question. I'm on like day 12. This is the first time I've ever done a cleanse in my entire life. And what I'm hearing from you is that all the aches and pains that I have is my body healing. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay. Because
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Do you have any old injuries? Is it injury related, or is it just showing up kind of throughout the whole body?
It's a mixture of both. I have arthritis and osteoporosis and all that stuff. So it's a mixture of injuries and heredity.
Yep, exactly. And what happens, and I can really speak to this because that's what I was healing and going through this process for, is chronic pain. And it was, I mean, everywhere. I had broken 16 bones. And basically what happened is it would travel from one spot, one old injury spot, into another spot, into another spot. And the other thing that's happening as we get into the deeper detox is your body actually cleanses and detoxes by getting flu-like symptoms. So when we get sick or when we get the flu, it's actually our body trying to expel excess mucus and toxins that are in the body. And, you know, one of the cold and flu-like symptoms is aches and pains as well. And wherever there's that ache or that pain, that's where there's lymphatic congestion. And if you're getting into it, it means that it's starting to pull the lymph out of that area, which is a really good thing, just painful. And once that lymph is pulled out of there, that's when the tissues actually start to repair and rebuild.
I can add to that as well because I suffered with chronic pain in my low back and I couldn't stand up straight in my 20s. Really addressing the kidneys for me was important to open up, make sure that eliminative channel is open. So if you're wanting to go deeper and get to the root, I suggest taking herbs that support the kidney and help open up that eliminative channel. And then making sure your kidneys are filtering. I don't know if you've seen any of that on the site, but we have a lot of education on kidney filtration, but that's a huge part to open up as well.
And what herbs do you suggest?
We all work with herbs. He has really amazing formulas that are all synergistically blended together in like a formula. So you could do, there's what's called kidney 1 and kidney 2 tincture or capsules. So if you want more help, you can reach out to any one of us and we can help put together like an herbal protocol to help you support on a deeper regenerative level.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if this is your first cleanse, I mean, doing the 30-day is it's a great place to start. If you're wanting to go deeper, then you can add up this other stuff in. So don't feel overwhelmed at all. But just know that regeneration is available and getting to the root, that's like the direction you want to go.
It is. So I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks like we're at the top of the hour. Another piece of working with pain elimination is not only supporting those kidneys, as Carrie was explaining, but also supporting our adrenals. Our adrenals have so much to do with tissue repair, tissue recovery, getting that inflammation out of the body. So there definitely are solutions. So reach out if anybody needs help at that deeper level. And we have time for one.
Yes, I agree with Rita about the adrenals. And actually, Purium has a great adrenal formula called Be Energetic. So if you're looking to try something new or add something on your next one, that's great for supporting adrenal glands.
And that tart cherry juice that you're drinking every night is amazing for kidney filtration.
I actually ordered that Be Energetic and have it already. So I'm using that. So thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, I really love 2 capsules in the morning of Be Energetic. It's super energizing, so I don't take it in the evening time, and I don't even take it in the afternoon because I'll be too energetic, but I love it kind of first thing in the morning. A couple capsules last me the whole day. So again, find that right balance for you. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Carrie, for those incredible recipes. I'm so grateful. And next week we will be doing this Q&A again, same time, same place. And next week I'll be leading a bit on meditation and alignment and posture in the first half hour. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Carrie. Those recipes look amazing, and I've tried them, so they are very good. So hopefully you guys can give those a try.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. You're amazing.